Talk. My guest today, the very, very entertaining nominated Member of Parliament from ODM. She is one of three. ODM kept to their promise of 50% representation, at least with the nominated MP. She's one of three. Nominated Member of Parliament, Millie Odhiambo, and we're talking schools, we're talking kids, we're talking growing up, we're talking where we went wrong. So, Mweshimiwa, yes. We've spared the rod, we've banned homework. What else do we do to get to the mind of that child?
Listen to them. And that's actually one of the things I've said. Listen to kids. Find a forum where kids can express themselves. But, you know, if you listen, it sounds like I'm being pretty liberal, which I am. But on the other hand, and I don't have my own child, and some people have challenged me on that, but I bring up other people's kids. Even now, I have the responsibility of taking care of my nieces, like my sister lives elsewhere. I take care of my nieces. I'm the one who is responsible for how they go to school, how they come back, and discipline issues. And they know I am a disciplinarian to death. I just don't have to cane them. And I am proactive. I sit them down, you'd be shocked. Like I tell people about issues about sex. I say I call us, a spoon and not, what do you call it again? Whatever.
Yeah, a spade a spade.
a spade and not that thing, yeah. Whatever it is. So what I do is I sit down my nieces and nephews and I talk to them.
Do they talk back?
Yes. We have like a conversation. And I say things that sometimes shock them. And there are some that when I think I'm not able to tell them like direct, I'm feeling embarrassed, then I go to a forum because I do a lot of mentorship talks and I invite them. Like only last week, I was talking to a group of young girls and boys. So I called my young niece and nephew. And within that context, I sat down and I talked to these guys about everything from how I met my husband and everything. And they said, wow, now we know. And I said, so ask me. So I find ways of introducing this topic in a way that then they can engage with me. And then they have issues that they can raise. And you'd be amazed the sort of issues kids raise when you open up and talk to them.
Okay, Mweshimiwa, do we need to do more of that? Because yes, the parents are busy running around, right? Yes. Do we need to speak to those children more?
Yes, that is actually my point. That what we need to do is talk to children more. Whether it is in school, whether it is at home. But much more at home than in school. But even in school, you see, if you actually look at the size of classes that we had before, they were manageable. So teachers would spend quality time with any student. But now you are one teacher, you want to look at like a class of 100. If you have one kid who looks deviant, you say, go to hell, I don't have time for you. Yeah? So you won't spend time to notice that this kid is actually not deviant. He's basically one of the best kids, just hyper. And you need to see how you channel the hyperactivity this kid has. But with 100 kids, which teacher has the time? They don't. So we must look at this free education policy. What is it doing to teachers? I went all over the country. I was in Tharaka, I was in Suba, I was in Coast, I was in Nairobi, in the slums. Every teacher is telling you the same thing. One, of course, corporal punishment is still there. So that's why I'm saying it's a non-issue. But two, that they are absolutely overwhelmed. They are doing too much. They have too many students, and we need more teachers. But other than that, we need teachers not training in counseling as a by the way. We need counselors who are trained counselors in schools, doing nothing other than counseling 24/7. Yeah.
Mweshimiwa, in Parliament, and I know it's your first time there, and obviously this class of 2008, very aggressive, very in your face, they're taking no prisoners, and they're doing a great job for the most part. Are you having fun, and can you drive the policies you want with your colleagues now?
Yes, hopefully. Of course, everybody in Parliament is very independent-minded. And before I actually came here, I was having a very lively debate with a lot of them. And there's like a whole half of them were saying, you must chapper these kids. And then there's a whole half of them were saying, absolutely not, this is primitive. You know, like my friend Honorable Charles Kilonzo said, absolutely primitive. Don't touch nobody's kid. This was done in the caveman's time. Now we are more, developed, and we shouldn't be doing that kind of thing. So because Parliament is people are very open-minded, people are intelligent, you have to talk with them so that they see your viewpoint. But I'm hoping that because of the same reasons that we are going to be able to push in a lot. We are going to change a lot, and I'm hoping that we can change the way people think about parliament. Because all you know about us is you want this, a lot of money, and then you just ask for more, like Oliver Twist.
Okay, your women colleagues. Is this a good group to be with? And are you optimistic that it can only get better? Because you're only 21 right now.
Yeah, but we are 21 amazing women. I'm sure you've met quite a number of them. You know, we have different, what I like about it is we have very different and diverse backgrounds, yet all of us are very strong. Whether they are nominated or elected, they are strong women, independent-minded, go-getters, and very reformist in their mind. So I'm really seeing that we are going to move forward.
Yeah. The school strikes. Obviously, like you said, despite the fact that unfortunately, tragically, a kid got killed, they don't seem to be stopping. What do we do now, at least in the short term, to end these strikes and then tackle the problem? What needs to be done?
I think we need to understand child psychology. And I've done a little on child psychology. I've done training on child psychology. And what people are forgetting as children are children. Even adults get into mob psychology. How much more for children? So what children are basically seeing, like I'm told that in one school, the girls were celebrating that they got a new bus, and the boys thought they were striking. So they said, to support the girls, they went on strike, only to discover the girls were actually celebrating getting a bus. What I'm saying is that there's a spiral effect now, that we've had Lenana has gone on strike, we've had this has gone on strike, so I actually think what the headmistress of St. George's did is very commendable. Preempt it. They will want to go on strike for any reason now.
Right.
Why? Because it's human nature. We like being copycats.
Yeah.
We've had this is on strike, and much more so kids. At adolescent, any child psychologist will tell you that a child at the level of adolescent thinks the world is the stage, and they are the only actors, and we are all watching. So they're acting and we are watching. That's an adolescent for you. And Form 3, Form 5, they're adolescents. So all you do is when you see a big group of adolescents who are likely to behave that way, if you ask me, we should do a preemptive thing. If you think your school, be very vigilant and alert. If you have an inkling that the school is about to go on strike, just close it. Or just close the school. Send them, it's almost, I don't know if it's whatever. Yeah, send the schools. Let them come back when they're a bit more relaxed. And then, am I saying children should get away with it who have done the mistakes? Absolutely not. I'm a lawyer. And I know children, especially when the activities tend to be on the criminal, they must face the full force of the law. They will be taken to court. They will be charged. They will be tried. And the others need to know that what they are doing is not correct. And that's why we have the Children Act, for instance, which I don't even think still is sufficient in dealing with children in conflict with the law. The way I should deal with you, Jeff, when you've committed an offense is not the way I should be dealing with a child who is still really in their formative stages, who may have been influenced for whatever reason. Ask most of our MPs. Half of them were expelled from whichever schools they were. They are our leaders. And if we expel them and didn't give them an opportunity to continue, who would we have now? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Half of them were expelled. I missed it by whiskers. But I didn't ban a school anyway.
And you weren't caned.
No.
All right, you spoke about child rights, Mweshimiwa, a moment ago. Since Cradle was formed, have child rights improved in this country?
Absolutely. Child rights has improved significantly. We are listening a little more to children. Of course, by the time the Cradle was formed, we didn't even have like a comprehensive law on children. Since then, we have the Children Act. Issues of sexual violence against children have been addressed, which, by the way, is very rampant in schools. And then issues of trafficking on children have come to the fore. Things we never wanted to talk about that were no-go zones, like sexual abuse, for instance, they are now in the public domain. We are now discussing them. And even today, I saw somewhere, I don't know if it has to do with homosexuality, but I saw in the papers that somebody is asking, what if your boy likes boys, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a question that as parents would rather hide and not deal with, but some parents are already confronting it and will deal with it.
But very few.
Yeah,
It's
but
still
very few.
Taboo, yes.
Yes, but it is here. Can you believe, Jeff, we run a program called the Child Letter Link, which is a newsletter to primary schools, in poorer neighborhoods in Nairobi. The first issue we send out, we actually ask kids to write letters to us, and we place boxes in schools. The first letter we got, a kid asked us that they feel attracted to children of the same sex.
Wow.
This is Nairobi, yeah? So we are confronting big issues, and we have to find a way of talking to our children so that they understand and they are able to deal with those issues.
Gone are the days of sweeping things under the rug.
You can't. If you do that, we are going to have what we had earlier this year. You cannot sweep things under the carpet. I think if there's one thing we learned from the post-election violence is that we must deal with issues when they confront us. Let's not wait, because then it's a time bomb. Yeah. Right now, I've just left a debate going on Mungiki in Parliament and other similar groups. Yeah. And all the time we have been sweeping them under the carpet. This is the time to deal with them. When there's no crisis of Mungiki, when there's no crisis of Taliban, this is the time to deal with it.
Proactive, not reactive.
Not reactive.
Bottom line, you having fun right now, aren't you? You right place, right time?
Yes. I guess because, as I told you, I'm a Christian, and I think God's timing is always perfect.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, I am in the right place at the right time. Yeah. Even though when I went in, I was very reluctant initially to go into the 10th Parliament. Yeah, I would have wanted to be in the 11th or the 9th, but God purposed that I be in the 10th Parliament. At such a time as this, I'm an Esther.
There you go. And you get to Parliament on time, don't you?
Yeah, most times. Not always, but most times. At least Parliament knows I don't like your 5 o'clock.
Right.
So they don't do like a 5 o'clock on me.
Correct.
We get to Parliament by 9.
Yeah.
So unless I have a prior engagement, I try to be there on time. I give quality contributions. Yeah.
Excellent. Mheshimiwa, what a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks.
All the very best.
Asante.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Our guest today, wow, what a fascinating topic. Nominated Member of Parliament, Millie Odhiambo. She says, spare the rod, but that doesn't necessarily mean you will spoil the child. She says, bottom line, discipline. And most importantly, talk to your child. Children have evolved over the decades, and they're not like we were growing up. You need to talk to them because they have a lot to say. Oh, there's so much going on in these schools. We need to tackle this problem, and I think we are getting to the genesis of the issues. Oh, and you can only get that right here on Capital Talk, only on the award-winning station K24, where we are all Kenyan, all the time.